praises to the Most High Yahweh, by Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who were well. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I just wanted to show this. I kind of wanted to do a little video on this. It's not really about what's going on right now with the BRICS and, Europe collapsing. But it's just to show Edom's collapse from a social angle. And this Chinese lady, I've seen her a few times. She does have some good info, and I think she made a video on TikTok. I don't really have a TikTok, but it says, "You have been so blessed by your association with us." And there's a little Edomite here. I don't know whether or not you can see that. Little Edomite there. It says, "You have been so blessed by association with us. Just take a look at that cell phone in your hand. The whole world has been blessed by Europeans." And I'm just going to get a scripture before I go into that. This is Nahum 3, and I'm going to read probably up to the 6th chapter. "Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery." Because again, there he said, you're great by association with us. Look at what we've done for you, And, she goes into the phone's probably not even built in America. It's probably built in China. "Woe to the bloody city is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. The noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and of the prancing horses and of the jumping chariots." I'm assuming that's chariots. "The horseman lifteth up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses." And one of those corpses is Edom's lies. These lies are now like a corpse in the street. Everyone's stumbling across these lies because of the multitude of whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. "Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and set thee as a gazing stock." Now I'm gonna play this little video. I hope this brings some edification, but it's a very informative woman.
You're obviously not aware of this, but blessed is not a word the global majority thinks of in association with Europeans. Words like plague and colonizer, maybe, but not blessed. And the cell phone in my hand came from China. So I don't know if you're referencing Steve Jobs or Martin Cooper or the Finnish inventor who created the first pocket-sized telecommunication device in 1917, and you probably don't know either because your education system has left you terribly ignorant and without the critical thinking skills necessary to effectively gather information. Because you believe that most great inventions can be attributed to one white person, as opposed to recognizing that the patent system is how white people colonize intellectual property. We would not have cell phones if it wasn't for the creation of the gamma electrical cell by black inventor Henry T. Sampson. And most of our cell phones would not have microphones in them if it wasn't for the particular microphone that was created by black inventor James Edward West. The creation of the first digital network, 1G, was launched in Japan, and then black electrical engineer Jesse Russell pioneered the creation of 2G, which launched in Finland first. 3G launched in Japan, 4G launched in Norway, 5G launched in South Korea, and 30% of the world's cell phones are manufactured in China. Because we, of the global majority, recognize that collective humanity has the ingenuity and creativity of one another to thank, whereas a lot of European Americans are laboring under the delusion that the rest of us have white people to thank. And it's this narcissistic ignorance that causes people like you to do embarrassing things, like leaving comments about Europeans and cell phones on a video about systemic anti-black in the United States. And while that could be written off as a comedic and senile non sequitur, we recognize it as a desperate attempt to center yourself in a conversation that has nothing to do with you. The irony being that white people like to say not all white people and they shouldn't be held accountable for the misdeeds of their ancestors, yet they want to be associated with the greatness of the things that they think they invented.
The way she's gathering them calmly and eloquently.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. My girl was. I gotta look up that word. I don't even know what that word means. That's sequitur. My girl fully cooked them. A conclusion or statement that does not logically follow from the previous argument or statement. So she basically said, "You're saying you invented all of this, but it makes no sense because it really has nothing to do with that, and you didn't invent it." Now, I'm just gonna get another scripture, man. Well, this was really about Jake, you know. But I'm gonna read it because this is what happened to Jake. I said I would scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. This is why no one even thinks Jake. Jake is Jake. Were it not, were it not that I fear the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, "Our hand is high, and the Lord have not done all this." So the Lord pretty much didn't put Jake all away because he didn't want the nations to think they did it, instead of the Lord, punishing Jake for Jake's iniquities. Then, and you can see from that man, these people, even though the Lord did that, these people still think that it was them that done all of this. Their pomp is very high, for they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. Now, this is twofold, This really is for Jake, but, it's for Esau as well, because he doesn't understand that his system is crumbling all around him. The brother non-stop of the block always goes into how, they're basically, the men are going out on the highways and byways and, they're cussing Esau to their face. 50 years ago, 60 years ago, you wouldn't be able to do this. They would have called up the goons, the platoons, and they would have shoved you in a cell. How should one chase 1,000 and put 10,000 to flight, except their rock has sold them? And the Lord, the Lord has sold out Esau, because right now you have one man on the highways and byways, and he'll straight cuss out a group of Edomites, and they'll run with their tails between their legs. And the Lord had shut them up. For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. For their vine is of the vine of Sodom, and of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall, their clusters are bitter. So, and I've been into this before, and the brothers have said this before. These are the curses really being turned back on Esau. I'm on forehead. I'm just gonna go ahead instead of listen to this woman's commentary. I think she goes again. she was giving it to them.
Witnessing the Fawo Yansh open in real time.
Oh boy.
It's a white invented the bathtub. He said white people can't invent a tub, but we did. We invented that too, stupid racist. Yo, Esau's upset,
So, John Michael Kohler was an American who invented the bathtub in 1883. But
let's see that. John Michael. Oh no, that's not how you spell Michael. Michael Kohler. Is it? Let's see this. No, I don't believe that. Kohler. Yeah, here it is. In 1883, an American man by the name of John Michael Kohler invented the world's first bathtub. He took a cast iron horse trowel, that thing that horse eat out of, when you put the hair or whatever, and added 4 decorative feet to the bottom of it and covered it in an enamel finish. Man, Esau's such a base, man.
think about this critically. Do you really think that nobody took a bath until John Michael Kohler invented the bathtub in 1883? Doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So what he was talking about is
and if you read the scriptures, there's scriptures of women, covering themselves in lavender and all types of odious scents and herbs, where they prepare themselves for, marriage or whatever. So and you go for this, the scriptures at the very least, the scriptures were there at 1611. Now we know, the books and the actual real scriptures of the scrolls are thousands of years old, but at the very least 1600. And you gotta think these writings came way before then, so people were taking baths from at least then. So to say you invented a bathtub is a bit, you know. Esau's an idiot, man.
Fact that Africans introduced bathing and the concept of personal hygiene to Western Europe in order to build a healthier society during the 800-year occupation of Spain. In particular, a man by this name introduced the practices of bathing, shaving, and using toothpaste, as well as drastically improving the eating habits of Western.
Well, let's see this. Zaryab. Oh man, I miss the old Google where you could actually put in something and it comes. Zaryab is thought to have invented an early toothpaste which he popularized through Islamic Iberia. The exact ingredients of this toothpaste are not currently known, but it was reported to have been both functional and pleasant to taste. You learn something new every day, man. But when you read the scriptures, it's clearly indicative of the fact that Jake has been cleaning himself, for thousands of years essentially. So Esau was a bit late to the party, man, but hey, what can you say? Your man was running around in Mount Seir grunting and eating juniper berries. So I know it's not fun. I just hate these people, and it's like I'm not trying to be facetious, but I truly hate Esau, man.
Europeans. Additionally, the first recorded history of people taking baths was in India in 500 BC. A lot of us have gotten used to how little history some people like you know, particularly where it comes to anything not Eurocentric. However, I have a tip. Before you make a comment like this, do a quick Google search for whatever you think the topic at hand is. In this case, who invented bathing or who introduced bathing to Europe, and then decide whether you still want to make this comment.
The fact that this commenter is desperately holding on to
Yo. It's got some few other tidbits in it where you just see Esau making a straight jackass of himself.
Rarely.
Oh my god, I'm so happy.
Bathing.
No, look at Esau. Look at Esau.
baths like that.
I don't say we avoid bathing, but we bathe very rarely.
Oh my god, I'm so happy that you're talking about this.
Yeah.
She didn't have a bath for like 5 months of her life.
Yeah, like we didn't bathe her for the first whole part of her childhood, and like now we basically bathe her as she asks for it because it's fun, or she's
Really
exceptionally dirty.
We really wanted to keep her skin microbiome.
Now you have to actually realize how friggin' disgusting that is. I've got into this before. The little demon that had my child. Even she didn't wash the baby for like 10 days. She was good with the baby. I'll give her that. But even then, after 10 days or something like that, she'd give him a wipe down. These people did not wash their children for an extended period of time. You know what I mean? So, hey.
As healthy and intact.
Now that you guys are saying this, that makes a lot of sense to just like let it be. And I feel like as a mother too, you have intuition to know when they need a bath.
Everybody knows it's that time of the month again where baby Indy gets his monthly shower.
So how do you invent something
Yo,
that's
that's crazy. Edomites are disgusting, man. Wisdom of Solomon 3:19. For horrible is the end of the unrighteous generation, and I'm glad I at least get to witness this, man. Because but I hate Edomites so much. I really do hate them. Every single time they open their mouth, you actually realize how filthy these people are. I was watching one thing where they were basically talking about how blacks shouldn't complain about racism, and if they do, then white people can bring up the fact that they're 13% of the population but make up 60% or 50% of the crime rate. And I was thinking to myself, but you're the reason why it happened. We're not going to talk about the fact that you stole the country that you're living in. It's like these people just, like that woman said, is non sequitur. They talk about something that has nothing to do with the other, and they're not able to draw a correlation between two statements, basically. Because you're saying, oh, well, blacks are criminals, but then you completely ignore the fact that you're the biggest criminal in the world. These people are just completely void of judgment, man.
times a day.
I'm not going to do it.
Well, you're just anti
I'm not
leg
black.
washes.
I'm not going to wash my legs and feet.
You think that's just a black people thing?
Clearly.
Well, and he's
The only one here who took the day off washes his legs and feet. No, I don't think it's a black thing. I think using a washcloth is for poor people, but I
Yeah.
don't think that washing your legs and feet is for black people.
I agree. I think the washcloth is a poor person thing. Because
I've only met poors who use them.
And this right here, guys, is the superior race. Every day
Yo, that's wild. Yo, I got a washcloth. I don't even use them, but I got a washcloth. You know, my grandma gave me a washcloth for when I was young. My grandma even still uses a washcloth. You go in her bathroom, she got a couple washcloths in there. These people are the base of the earth, man. There's no going around that. And I just want it for this scripture, even though a lot of it, you know, labor not to be rich, that really has nothing to do with it. But this is Proverbs 23:7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. And you know, this really, is still kind of prophecy. You know, you got that situation with that pearly things Edomite, you know, where she came into a black space basically, and she essentially parasited all the black creators, you know, in that quote unquote black manosphere, which is mostly bullcrap. You know, they have some little tidbits here and there. But yeah, she basically just catapulted her career off the backs of these so-called black people, you know. But you know, in the latter end, she's showing that, you know, she wasn't with these people. Now she's making fun of them. That now that she's established herself, and it's turned out that all the little so-called black creators on her show, she was basically robbing them. She was making them essentially be the draw. Because you, even though it's pearly things, you don't really watch it for her, because she's like a true blue Edomite. She boring as hell, man. You really watch for Jake making a fool of himself on her platform, and she capitalizes off that, and she essentially makes her living off putting a bunch of Jakes in a cage, you know, and throwing a piece of meat in there and watching them fight over it, you know. And, you know, she's shown towards the end that she doesn't really give a F about these so-called black people, you know. And she's trying to do this whole divide and conquer thing, talking about how, quote-unquote, so-called Africans are harder working than, quote-unquote, so-called African Americans. So these people are something else, man. Completely something else. Let's see here.
talking about their lack of hygiene is something.
Believe me, I know what sticks.
This just in. Everything costs loads more.
Absolute stinker. £175 for switching to First Direct Bank. That's something for hope.
What if we could reinvent what once was tossed aside? Take it.
Hey friends, it's late and I'm tired. Could somebody else please tell this commenter how backwards they've got it, that the medieval ages was something that happened specifically in Europe. It didn't happen around the world, because Europe was not doing very well after the fall of the Roman Empire. And that's not to say that there weren't great things that happened in Europe between the 4th and 15th century, but there are large portions of the European population that, without the intervention of non-white people like the Moors, who taught them to not sleep with their animals, not drink stagnant water.
Again, you know, Elder Malcolm goes into this a lot about how the Moors basically descended from Jake, essentially. You know, I'll be honest, I've not done that research myself. I need to look into it. You know, I do know about the Moors, but I've not really drawn the correlation between them and Hebrews. But you know, the Elder Malcolm, and you know, that's something I should do. But he goes into that a lot, so.
And practice hygiene would have been wiped out by the plague. So it's really more that white people needed non-white people to pull them out of the medieval ages. And then given what some European countries started doing in the 15th century, some of us don't think it was the right decision. Okay, I'm going to bed.
You know,
Thanks.
sometimes I wonder, I really think about it like...
Oh, she got another video cooking these Edomites. I'm just going to draw another scripture. This is Psalms 37:34. Wait on the Lord and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree, yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. He's no more. Yea, and I sought him, but he could not be found. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. And the end of Esau is peace. And then Elder Malcolm goes into so I heard him bringing out the scripture before where well, everybody brings it out. It says, is he the man that maketh the earth to tremble? And how everyone's gonna squint at him, in the kingdom, right? When you see somebody far off, and is that Michael? Is that my people gonna be looking at it like, is that Esau? Him? What, he was running the earth? But these people are jokes.
Do whatever the plague wanted to do.
I do get labeled woke by the wrong people a lot, but that is actually really easy for me to ignore because it's kind of funny for several reasons. The first of which is, as you said, the whole woke mind virus thing is BS. The other thing is the people who would use woke as an insult tend to be the people that woke is not for. The concept of wokeness having originated with Marcus Garvey and the term woke having been appropriated from Black people, when white conservatives call me woke as an insult, it's just funny because it's not for them to call anybody woke. The other thing is that wokeness is only an insult to them. It's not an insult to me. When Black people say that I'm woke, that's a high honor. So white conservatives do it because it's the only way that they have to dismiss the things that I say that they don't like, because it is well informed and it is important, and it's about dismantling white supremacy culture, and they don't like that. If they were agreeing with me, then I would have to be worried. And the other thing that's weird to me is, what does it say about a group of people who think that woke is a bad thing, who take pride in being asleep? And their pride in ignorance and narrow-mindedness does show. So as I tend to tell them, if you're going to take pride in your ignorance, don't pretend like you know something.
Oh, there you go, man. Now, he look like he got his ass beat, but that's neither here or there. I'll just bring up this last scripture. This is Hosea. Let's see. No, I'm gonna just read this bit and leave off with that. This is Hosea 10:13. Ye have plowed wickedness, ye have reaped iniquity, ye have eaten the fruit of lies, because thou didst trust in thy way in the multitude of thy mighty men. Therefore shall a tumult arise among thy people, and all thy fortresses shall be spoiled. As Shalman spoiled Bethabel in the day of battle, the mother was dashed in pieces upon her children, so shall Bethel do unto you because of your great wickedness. In the morning shall the king of Israel utterly be cut off. Now again, this is for Israel, but this is the curse turning back on Esau, and there's no new thing under the sun, and history does repeat itself. So, this is really what's going to happen to Esau in the latter end, because everything that's happened to Jake is now going to happen to Esau, and the Lord's real poetic with it, because you can see the dismantling of Esau right before your eyes, And the Lord's done it. How Esau likes to do things in increments. The Lord's been breaking down Esau in increments to the point where, you don't even notice it, but it's becoming more and more prevalent that his society is crumbling. If you was to take what's going on now and compare it to 10, 15 years ago, this place is just completely done. It's just the people here really think that Esau's going to turn it around. Even when I speak to some, my mother, other family members, they say, this has happened before, it's going to go back to normal. But yeah, it's like Pandora's box, once it's open, you can't put it back in. All praises to the Lord, man. All praises to the Most High. Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, but honest to the elders and apostles of Jemas who well, Shalom to the elect.